Here we have a set of Doldokki irons sent to me by Sean from fineleatherworking.com, and there's a link to the website there. That's the only distributor that sells these for Doldokki. And these are stitching irons. We've had a look at the pricking irons. They do 4 different sorts: the pricking iron, thonging iron, all chisel, and diamond stitching. And that's what these are. They call them the diamond stitching iron, which is a stitching iron. They are centered. The grind is symmetrical, driving all force and all power straight down to the middle of the tool. So that's slightly unlike the pricking irons. There's a lovely balance, a lovely weight, and they are nicely made. Apparently they're all handmade. The steel that they are made from is SKD 11, which is D2 tooling steel, and they are case hardened to Rockwell 60. They are stunning. They're beautiful. They really are. The finish is brushed. There's a bit of grease and there's a few marks and stuff like that, but to be fair, if it's D2 tooling steel and if you really wanted to, you could slap these on the mop and polish them up an absolute dream, and I've no doubt they'll come up like glass. The more polished your tool, the better they're going to go in and out. This side of the tooth actually looks a little rough. However, when you run your nail down it, I think it's just a finish. It's not actually that rough at all. I think with a little bit of love and certainly a bit of use, these are going to polish in. A nice weight, a good feel. I feel like I'm holding something substantial but not massive. Whichever angle you want to hold it, it feels comfortable. There's a good solid chunk of steel right at the top there to pound down on. Let's take this to a piece of leather and see what sort of hole it makes and see what damage it can do, eh? Give that a tap and let's have a look. Right, that's in. That's going to stay there. So, let's have a pulling block. Let's have a quick look at that hole. Oh, look at those. They're tiny. I say. They are lovely. Let's slap a piece of leather under there and let's go through and see how that penetrates. Good thump. Plenty of depth. I've gone through, I've got to be 2.5 mil there, so I doubt very much I need to smack it quite that hard. And out they come. Now, let me swap my glasses over so I can look at that hole a little bit better. Wow. That is definitely a stitching iron hole. That's gone through. Let's get rid of some of that wax so you can see what I'm looking at. That's gone through, but it's still giving us a really fine hole. That's fantastic. That is minuscule. And it's the size of the hole that can really... Well, still going through far too far. But it's still giving us a really good hole. These things are sharp. That's not far off what the pricking iron looks like. That's a broad hole. 38, 40 degrees of an angle. I think we should take this to the clam and see how it stitches up. Let's see what that stitch looks like. I mean, you can see how far the teeth have gone through, yet you can barely see the holes. Beautiful cut, straight in. I'm wondering if this is going to be a little heavy and I'm going to struggle getting this through. Let's find out, because I will say, well, it goes through. I can feel these holes gripping this thread already. They give a very small hole. Tough leather, heavy leather. This is giving the equivalent of 9 stitches per inch. So I've done 10 stitches there. I'm going to change the style of stitching a little, and I'm going to put a cast on it and overemphasize it for a few more stitches, and we can have a look at how that comes out. So I started off, first 10 stitches, bog standard. Next row was with a cast. The cast is detrimental to the back. I'm going to tap this down because I want to see what this looks like at its absolute best. So we've given it a tap down and we've given it a rub. Now, the first 10 stitches was the bog standard stitch, nothing special. Short stitches, good tension. Then I added a cast. The cast is always going to undo any good that you've done on the back, but it's going to overemphasize the front. And we can see it's lengthened the stitch into a rather nice looking stitch there. Both of these pieces of leather are 1.5mm thick each. So that's 3mm in total. One shoulder, one shell cordivan. That's the horse's bum, unless you already know. And I thought a little bit of a contrasting colour. You've seen me stitch with the black, but I don't think you got a true representation of black on black. And I think the 0.6 braided polyester is just a little too heavy. 9 SPI, it stitches fine, and it gives a good stitch. It's a good looking stitch, I like it. But I think if you were going to make something a little more delicate, if you were to drop the thread size like I have, at 9 SPI with a hole this small, I think we'll have a far more delicate looking stitch. And hopefully that's going to show here. Let's find out. There we go, folks, almost done. Simple saddle stitch, sandwiching the needle between the two threads. No cast, because the back on this piece is important, so we don't want to de-emphasize the back. In fact, we want to make it look as good as possible. Okay. Doldokki, 10 tooth, 3mm, 9 SPI, stitching iron. How's that? Let's bend it the other way. No awl, really, really fine hole, nice, snug fit, tight stitch. 2 pieces of leather, both 1.5mm, no glue, just stitched. How's that? All the specifications are downloadable from my sheet on my website. You'll see a link down the bottom, and if you want to buy these irons, then go to fineleatherworking.com, check the website out, drop Sean an email, because I do believe there's an order list. These aren't kept in stock due to the way that they're made and the time that they take. But folks, I hope that helps. Take care.